Okay.
Okay.
How can 7.5 is an odd number?
Any value which is giving some residue, or let's say remainder, it will be treating it as a odd number.
Okay. So that's why it's saying it's an odd number. Any decimal, basically, it'll give you as an odd number. Okay, so it's ideal to just declare that as integer because you don't want float values there.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I should not be accepting this.
Okay, yeah.
It will cause an error. My data type is integer and I'm passing a float value.
So number divided by 2, if it gives you a decimal, if it gives a remainder, it's printing it as an odd number. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
So any residue will be treated as an odd number.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here I am displaying, as in we'll be discussing some writing a function to calculate, which will be acting as a simple calculator. Okay. Maybe
Okay.
going the same logic can be applied for something else, like okay, let's finish it off and then we may be discussing some another use case.
Uh-huh.
So as we know, how to declare the functions, definition is a keyword. Yes.
Definition of keyword, yes.
Function name,
Yeah.
add, subtract, multiply. So these are all the function names which we have given.
Right.
Okay. And
Okay.
then arguments x and y.
Right.
Okay. And now I'm asking him to return me. So return again is a keyword. So return me will give me back the values which I have specified.
Right.
So I'm asking to return plus y value.
Yes.
Subsequently, subtract is a function. X and y are the input values, and I'm asking him to return me x minus y value. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Likewise, multiply and divide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So I got 4 functions declared in the same program. Yes.
Yes.
So that means I have a separate function for add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Right.
Now, I'm taking the choice from the user which operation he or she want to perform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Now, choices input, enter the choice, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 from the user. Okay.
Okay.
Now number 1, integer input, enter the first number. Okay. So we will accept the first number from the user, second number from the user. It is a plain input acceptance from the user. Okay.
Right. Basically X and Y. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if choice is 1, it will be doing addition. If choice is 2, subtraction, so on and so forth. Okay.
Right. Uh-huh.
So selection of the operation, we have done it using if else loop. Okay.
Okay.
As we say that for loop, else loop, while, switch, these are all various type of control statements.
Right.
Okay. So here we have used if else loop to accept the choices. Okay. So for me the
Okay.
choice is yes.
Yes. Yes. So the choice is 1, so it's going to add. Okay.
It will give me addition. And the display message I want it to be like this: print my number 1 plus number 2 equal to whatever the value it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So print me my number 1 and number 2 accept values. Okay.
Yes.
And what should I be printing? I will be printing the addition of number 1 and number 2.
Okay.
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 Okay. Likewise, maybe for subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all these four alternatives, I also want to display if there is something apart from 1, 2, 3, 4 is being given,
Uh-huh.
give it as an invalid input. Okay. Or else I can put the condition else print whatever the value given. Okay. I can say that invalid input, or I can even display the input value.
Okay. Okay. You can do a colon and do the value. Okay. Choice. Okay. Mm-hmm.
That means
Mm-hmm.
what I'm commenting here. Okay. Now it will act as a simple calculator. Okay. And we are accepting number 1 and number 2. Okay. So first of all, choice maybe 1. Enter the first value,
Mm-hmm.
second value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it will give me the first operation, that is addition of two numbers.
Very good.
So what is interesting over here? Although I have declared my data type for number 1 and number 2,
Uh-huh.
yes, as integer, and
It can be.
after returning, I have asked for the x divided by y. I did not specify. I did not specify the data type for division output. Okay. Although my output, yeah, my input was 3 and 2, and it gave me 1.5 as an output.
Right.
Okay. I'll do it again. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. You got a float value.
So we got float value.
Right.
Let me do it again. Okay. So doesn't matter, although you have not declared any data type for the return value, but still then if it generates a float value, that will be displayed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's go up a little bit. Just want to see the program once.
Pardon?
No, I just said let's see the. Just want to see the program once. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. Number. Okay. This is all good. This is all good as you scroll down a little bit. Okay. So here you're also declaring number 1, number 2. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. It is good. Yeah. Let's continue.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess we are quite clear over here that the choice selection we have accepted using the if else loop over here.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Here I wanted to share across. Maybe can we explore as an assignment?
Mm-hmm.
Can we explore some another problem statement for usage of multiple functions and accepting the choices from the user? Yeah, maybe anything of your use or maybe at random.
That's what I
Yes.
was trying to think.
Yeah.
So basically, what sometimes what we do is generate runbooks, like generate a list of commands
Hmm.
for the work type that we do, right? So let's say if I have to go modify some zoning in my switches and stuff, I have to perform a list of commands. Instead of that, instead of writing each
But
command, no.
instead
What
of
I'm
each,
saying, instead of writing each command manually, if I have to write like a Python program that takes the input values and then generates the commands for me, I think that's a little bit, maybe we'll cover this. It requires maybe a few more classes for me to try to, maybe to get to that level.
hmm,
But that's what we can do. And let's say, for example, I have like 3 or 4 columns that I can give. Like,
hmm,
I'm trying to see how I can tell you in simpler words. And then let's say, for example, I have a text file with ABC columns, right? And A,
hmm,
B, C columns will have the parameters that I need, okay? And
hmm,
depending on the input that I give in ABC columns,
hmm,
it should generate commands that I need, like something
hmm,
like
hmm.
maybe it's like maybe in few more classes we get there. But I'm getting it, and this is something similarly we will be doing in our day-to-day works in near future, right? So this is good
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have those type of Excel files as in on which you want to work upon or what?
So the thing is, I work for a bank, right? I work for JP Morgan Chase here. So, but I cannot like take anything out of my work and bring it out. But um, what I can do is, yeah, I can definitely make up some like a text file or even Excel file on our own, right? And then see if we can generate some commands from there, like generate. Let's see if we can put it to use is what I'm saying. It's basically write a simple program, even if it's like a 2 or 3 columns in Excel are there, and then we can generate commands based on that.
That sounds good. Then maybe
Yeah,
apparently apart from these things, if you would require to handle the text data, then
yeah, yeah.
you have to take up a few things from the file handling or maybe
Mhm.
from the some of the basics of natural language processing. Okay,
Okay, okay.
that that need to be considered. This is good probably if you can meantime try to generate a small text file data Okay, and
Okay.
whatever the logics or whatever the functionalities we have been discussing, we try
Mm-hmm.
to explore a few things on that particular stuff. Okay, so that would be sort of context specific. Okay.
Yeah. And so far, what we have covered, right? Can you give me like something that I can practice on, like maybe I won't be able to finish it tomorrow or day after, but I can work over the weekend, and we can go over it next week's class. And
Yeah,
simply
sure.
something that won't be so hard for me.
Is that fine if I share across a list of experiments, or sorry, list of assignments
Yeah,
which you
that's
may try?
fine.
Hmm?
List of assignments. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, list of assignments on whatever the topics.
Yeah, that's
May
fine. That's fine. Whatever I can do it at my pace. Just to rather than what I do is every day after the class, I try to go review the presentation that you share, right? And so far it makes sense. The only thing is I need to apply it, right? And I had maybe if you can give me like assignments or any use cases that I can apply so far what I've learned, that will be good. I'm trying to do it a little bit slower because of
Hmm,
the other things that I have, right? I can't spend like too much time. So,
hmm, hmm.
but I will do it at my pace and we can go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe this okay. So based on it, I'll share across some set of assignments. Here,
Okay.
particularly in what I was randomly thinking of, let's say, typically we, being in engineering, we require to find out a lot of times maybe the sine, cos, and signage, cosage. That is the trigonometry,
Mm-hmm.
hyperbolic values.
Right.
Apart from it, might be finding out the square root of something. Okay,
Uh-huh.
might be the square of something. See, if a user gives an input value, whatever it is,
Okay.
let's say,
Okay.
will I be able to generate a particular trigonometric value, maybe sine, cos, tan, or
Mm-hmm.
signage,
Mm-hmm.
cos, and the square of the value or square root of the value. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
4, 5 functions also if we take on the same line of action, we may have a function declaration for trigonometric, hyperbolic, and elementary mathematical calculations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just I was randomly correlating that the same type of functionality where I can use maybe. Okay,
Okay.
subsequently that also can be taken up for maybe if I got a 3-table data, 3-column data. I want to find out the maximum value, minimum value, and average value of it.
Okay.
So I got a time series. Okay, that means let's say 1, 2, 5, 4, 9, 7, 6, 5, 6 random values, and get me the mean value, maximum value, and the average value, minimum, maximum, and average mean value. Okay, and based on the choice from the user, that should be displayed. Okay. Uh, Likewise, if we take it to dictionary or tuples, based on the user's input, I should be able to extract a particular keyword from that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say user uses an input boy, then I should find out the word Nick. Okay, if the user gives the input as a girl, find out Zara.
Right.
Maybe randomly that may be an amalgamation of a column data, 2 or 3 column data, and then followed or time series data followed by some basic elementary mathematical stuff. I don't know. I'm just randomly thinking
Mm-hmm.
how
Mm-hmm.
fine tune that can be for our application. Okay. So I guess this is pretty fine, right? Declaration
Yeah.
of multiple either accepting the choices from the user, writing a if-else loop as
Mm-hmm.
a criteria, and then solving it.
Yes. This is pretty clear. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Should we move on or yeah? Should we move on with some small concept or how
Yeah,
is
we
it?
can move on. We can move on with the small concept, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so maybe in short, we can have again usage of some built-in commands over here. Like you get an input which is non-integer value or negative value, and you want to only display the absolute or magnitude value out of it.
Okay.
So here again, ABS is the command. So I'm accepting integer value, whatever it is. Again, here statically we have directly given it. In spite of that, we can eventually write input accept the number from the user. Okay, so that also can be done. Now I'm asking only to display me the magnitude value of it. Okay, so ABS is command which converts this non-integer or negative value to the magnitude or integer value.
Okay.
And is not only applicable on integer, but eventually even that can be taken for the float values as well.
Okay.
Okay, so likewise float also minus 30.
ABS is also a built-in API, I think, absolute for. Okay.
ABS is an built-in API like
Okay.
dot count, dot index, and then maximum, minimum.
Mm-hmm.
ABS is an built-in API. Okay,
Okay.
eventually collectively we are discussing a few functions from NumPy or SciPy, although we have
Okay.
not incorporated it, but obviously we'll be discussing it separately. But
Okay.
these are certain numeric computations APIs which are inherently there in your Python package.
Right. Okay.
So ABS is an built-in API which gives us only the magnitude value. Okay. Likewise, that also can be explored for a complex number. So let's say
Yes.
complex number 3 minus 4j is given, and I'm asking him to get me the magnitude of that complex number. Okay.
Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
what are the conversion to degrees, radians, and finding out the lag part, converting this lag part to the real part. Normally,
Right.
we used to handle this type of calculus on the scientific calculators.
Right.
Okay. So collectively, this command is going to do it for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what this command is doing, 3 minus 4j was a complex number, but when I ask him for an absolute magnitude value, it
Yes.
has done that scientific calculation behind and it has given me the magnitude of it as a 5. Okay.
Nice.
Typically for a lot of engineering and scientific applications, this type of things are quite required.
Right.
This something called we call it as a Fourier transform. I'm just throwing the term. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you come across this type of complex data. Maybe something from biomedical, where again the
Right.
data may be complex. Okay. So ABS works on positive, negative values, float values, and complex values as well.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Okay. Maybe shortly creating the complex number. Let's say A is 2 plus 3j, which is a real and complex value.
Right.
I'm asking
Mm-hmm.
to print the value of A. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Type of A, I have to display it across. Obviously, that will be a complex. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Type of B, again a complex, and type of C, again a
Complex.
complex. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess this is quite discrete. So should I stop here or I'll pick up some other set of
Yeah.
yeah.
I think this is good. Yes. We can call it a day today and then start something new tomorrow.
So fair enough. So we started discussing on tuple functions, tuple indexing, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have seen the usage of uh, declaring the functions and declaring the various control loops to take up certain decision, to make it as a decision criteria within your functions. Currently here we have explored if-else loop. Somewhere we'll explore the switch cases or while loop for accepting the choices from the user. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll share across these programs. Okay. And in line with these things, eventually we'll be discussing the niche concepts required for Python programming now.
Okay.
And as hand in hand, whenever it will be required, we'll be discussing a few things from NumPy or SciPy.
Okay.
So